We were feeling obviously very emotional, disregarded, and upset, and then also flooded with the emotions of finally getting him home and being able to see that. Once we arrived back at the funeral home, that is when we learned of other things that had happened during Zacky's trip home. One of those things was that on the last flight, unlike the other flights, on the last flight from Charlotte, North Carolina to Pittsburgh, there was absolutely no announcement made that there was a fallen Marine on the plane. So this didn't allow for the passengers to know that they were traveling with Zach or that those two escorts were escorting a fallen Marine home. This also meant that they didn't get any good accommodations to get off the plane first. These two gentlemen then also their luggage they did not get. So, of course, they traveled from North Carolina. They've flown into Pittsburgh, and then, we're about 100 miles south to get him home. And upon arrival at the funeral home, we found out they didn't have their luggage because it was sent to baggage claim. I went to work on their behalf that night into the early morning, trying to get their luggage shipped to them so that they did not have to drive back up and get it. Ultimately, they were told that it wouldn't be delivered until 9 p.m. the next day. And so we reached out to our our casualty assistance calls officers again and asked to have their accommodations changed to Pittsburgh so that when the Marines drove up to get their luggage, they would not be driving back in the snowstorm that was happening. We ended up taking care of them in that respect, too. There were a couple of other things. One in particular is that they had a very long layover in Charlotte. They can't leave Zacky's side, so they sat in the cargo terminal with him there. And nobody checked on them for hours, knowing, that there was a fallen Marine and two escorts. I don't know what the airline policy is in those matters, but just finding that out that, nobody really checked on them was sad and disheartening.